So this couple spent $120,000 on cars, quad bikes, and I guess on their friends in a 2 week spending spree after money was accidentally paid into their account. And here's the thing, like, this is very rare to happen for something like this to happen where you'd end up actually just randomly getting a big chunk of money. But anytime this happens, understand that they could take money as easily as they can give you money. And if you start spending money that is not yours, you could be in some very serious trouble. So let's get right into it. So, Robert and Tiffany Williams from Pennsylvania went on a 2 week spending spree after noticing the accidental transfer. Rather than notifying the bank, they bought an SUV, two quad bikes, a camper, a race car, and even dished out $15,000 or 13,000 euros to pals. By the time the blunder was spotted 3 weeks later, the pair had already spent around $107,000 or 87,000 euros. And staff from the BB&T bank contacted Tiffany, but she reportedly told them she had used the money to pay off bills. She said they would work out a repayment plan but stopped communicating after two phone calls, prompting the bank to call the police. And before the cash was accidentally sent to them, instead of investment firm Dimension Covington Investment, they had just $1,121 in their account. And the money was deposited on May 31st, 2019, and was withdrawn by June 20th. When investigators spoke to the pair in July, both admitted to knowing the mislaid money did not belong to them, but they spent it anyway, according to State Trooper Aaron Brown. And a neighbor of the pair told local station WNEP TV at the time that it is kind of shocking. With all the procedures the bank has set up, checking and double checking and triple checking, there's no way anybody gets away with that stuff. A man at the couple's home, identifying himself as Robert's father, said, "I have no idea. I don't even know what's going on. I'm just the dad." BB&T Bank told CNN, "While we can't comment on the specifics of this issue due to client privacy practices, we always work as quickly as possible to address any issue that affects our clients." And it comes after a mom was stunned to find 6 million euros in her bank account before splashing out on a luxury home and helping out her family. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, the thing is, right, what people really need to understand about things like this, and this is also an issue as well, not just them spending money that's not theirs. Like, that is wrong in itself on a lot of levels, right? But even when they spent money, they were stupid with it, right? So you can basically see the type of people they are in terms of their relationship with money due to how they reacted with this type of money and how quickly they spent that money on absolutely useless things, right? Because let's just say that you won the lottery, because this would be a similar situation, but it would actually be legal to spend the money, right? So let's just say that they got $120,000 from winning the lottery, right? Out of nowhere. And they had basically $1,000 in their bank account before winning the $120,000 lottery. They would be spending that amount of money the exact same way because they are financially morons, to be frank, right? And I don't want to like necessarily insult them, but that is the reality, right? There is a reason that you only have $1,000, and when you received $120,000 by accident, you immediately spent almost all of it within 2 weeks, right? And it's a sad thing to see, right? Because this really goes to show people the issues of giving people money that did not have money beforehand because they don't know how to handle that money. They don't know how to manage that money. They don't know how to spend that money. They don't know how to grow that money, right? If you give a lot of money to people who have literally no idea on how to literally make more money, you're basically ruining their lives. And in a sense, they potentially, the bank, by accidentally sending the money to them, potentially ruin their lives because now they might be facing criminal charges for spending the money that wasn't theirs. Who knows? I don't know the exact situation as to what's going to happen, but it's just a sad thing to see, right? So if you were in a similar situation, one, immediately contact the bank, maybe even contact a lawyer just in case, because you never really can trust banks or massive institutions because if they find a way to potentially screw you over, they might do that. So, something to think about. But let's say that if you were in this situation legally, in the sense of you just won $120,000 from a lottery ticket, or you got like an inheritance of $120,000, like if you were to, or like an insurance payout, right? Let's just say that, like if you were to get like a big chunk of money out of nowhere and you originally had basically no money beforehand, this is what you need to do. Number one, pay off all of your debt. Like if you're able to pay off all of your debt with this money, do it, right? But really, you should have like really the steps that you should actually really do this is have like a tiny emergency fund, $1 to $2,000 for like emergency situations. Pay off all of your debt as fast as possible, or if you can do it all at once with this big chunk of money, I would do that. Then grow that 1 to 2,000 emergency fund to more like 3 to 6 months of expenses. Then after that, start putting money either towards the house, like a house down payment, or by putting money into investments. And your investments could technically be anything, especially things that you know would probably be the best option. But I would lean personally more towards like an index fund, like the S&P 500, just because it's very lazy. You don't really get to think about too much of anything. And then after that, just spend some money, save some money, and give some money to people you want to help out. Like that's really all you got to do with money. And also spend less than what you make per year. That's literally all you have to do to be pretty okay financially speaking. It's just a sad thing to see people like this because one, they're going to be in a worse financial situation that they were in beforehand because now they might be having to deal with criminal charges of spending money that wasn't theirs. So they might be having worse jobs than they did before. But then also, even if they were to end up making more money later down the line, if they don't change this type of spending habits or their mentality on money, they're going to be completely screwed in the future as well, right? Because the biggest issue with this that I see is not necessarily them spending money that wasn't theirs, because obviously that is wrong, but it's the fact that they immediately went down the path of spending the money, like all of it. Like that is very troubling to see because that's a very hard habit to end up fixing. Like you got to change a lot of things in your life to not immediately go down the route of spending all the money that you have in your account. If you want to learn how to get out of debt and master your money, go to 40inbox.com.